Welcome to the Rescheck blog, the web's #1 blog and resource on Rescheck's manual J heat loss, green homes, insulation, building components, and energy efficiency. Today we want to talk to you about common mistakes made during Rescheck. If you want to read this blog, you can go over to www.rescheck.info. If not, sit right back and we'll read it to you. Today on the Rescheck blog, Rescheck podcast, and Rescheck.info, we want to discuss with you the most common Rescheck mistakes we see every day on the Rescheck helpline and how to fix them. Making an error on your Rescheck web or Rescheck desktop Rescheck report does not have to be the end of the world, but it can be frustrating. Why not read up on some of the most common Rescheck mistakes people make while creating their own do-it-yourself Reschecks or ordering from a Rescheck service? No job site address. One item you will need for your project is a job site address. We receive plenty of plans with an apparent job site address of planet Earth. Although we have other ways to get clues about where you are building, like your architect address or your phone number, without a job site address, we can usually not begin your project. The same would go for you if you're a Rescheck home gamer creating your own Rescheck report. We typically fix this by asking our Rescheck client for their job site address, and once we get it, we can move forward with the project. In the event that a job site address has not been issued by the building department before the Rescheck is due, many times the name of the city or town you are building in will suffice. When the address does become available, we offer free lifetime modifications at Rescheck Info, so we will gladly add it to your report with a smile. Similar Rescheck services charge upwards of $75 for simple changes to their Rescheck, so beware of sneaky back charges and overage fees on the competitors' Rescheck reports that could make the forgotten address on your Rescheck more costly. No square footage. Square footage is often forgotten on your plans. If there is one item that is needed from the building department to the Rescheck reporter all the way to the tax assessor's office is the square footage. If you want to go above and beyond, include it for each floor. In regards to your Rescheck report, you will need condition square footage to place on the front page of your new construction Rescheck. Oddly enough, for additions and alterations, the toggle switch in both Rescheck Web and Rescheck Desktop is not present. So that may be your one loophole for avoiding the need to have square footage listed on your plan, but don't rely on it. Knowing the square footage and having it present on your plans to be Rescheck can make sure everyone's on the same page as to the areas that will be conditioned, need to be insulated, and will ultimately be Reschecked by you or Rescheck.info. Now, we're going to switch gears from the cover page and move into some Rescheck envelope mistakes. First item we see very often at the very bottom of the home, one in the Rescheck software that has a differing method of calculation, is the slab. The slab is measured from the perimeter in Rescheck, whereas the other components available for Rescheck Foundation are typically measured in some sort of square footage. So simply measure the condition length around the foundation and add that number to the slab section of your Rescheck. Any attempt to use square footage in the slab portion of your Rescheck could skew the results, because instead of 100 lineal foot slab, the Rescheck software is led to believe you might have 1,000 lineal foot slab, which is pretty big. So for your next Rescheck, be sure to measure around the perimeter of your slab, and you can avoid this common Rescheck mistake. The next most common Rescheck mistake we see people is not giving themselves enough time. The pros here at Rescheck.info take about 4 to 6 hours to create a Rescheck for you. Then we deliver it back to you hot off the Rescheck press. We teach classes quite often how to use the Rescheck software to building inspectors, state officials, architects, engineers, and we estimate the initial time outlay for learning how to create your first Rescheck is about 10 to 12 hours. So to be safe, you probably need about 4 to 12 hours of time to thoroughly review your plans and make sure you're taking in all the correct information for your Rescheck. Rushing through your Rescheck energy report could lead to permanent rejections and later and ultimately double or triple the amount of time you need to create your Rescheck. If you do not have the 10 to 12 hours to generate a Rescheck, we offer an easy-to-use Rescheck service. Costs $79, ready in 4 to 6 hours. Just email your plans to service@rescheck.info and we will do the rest. If you're ready to get started, you can head over to www.rescheck.info. Click on Buy Now in the upper left-hand side of the screen. Then click Buy Now one more time. Thanks again for listening to the Rescheck podcast, reading the Rescheck blog, and using Rescheck.info. Till next time, this is the Rescheck blog.